So my name is Jacob Cox. This is Jesse Cox. We both own and operate the Weatherization Experts. This all started whenever Dad built his house.
Right.
We're kind of coming full circle. So back in 1998, Dad finished his house, and he insulated it with the same insulation cellulose. Now he did a roofline application, so his was a little bit different. I'd say that Dad was the one that did the aesthetics and energy efficiency
Right, he did both.
Yeah, he did both because it was a beautiful home, and but he made it. I mean, how often do you hear of a 5,000 square foot home with a 32-foot open vaulted ceiling in the living room have a $115 total electric utility bill?
Right.
It's almost unheard of nowadays.
Yeah, 5 tons of cooling with 4,900 square feet of living.
Right.
Is not very often pulled off, especially in the late 90s.
Right.
With a heat pump. Yes, he did hydronic heating, which he designed himself, and realized that he could have done it a little differently. In hindsight, a couple times that it overheat saturated. But with that concept of hydronic heating and a heat pump, it was very efficient. And he decided personally, for him, he didn't want to have gas in the home,
Right.
just because of the safety for you and I.
Yeah.
Because he was a firefighter, and while he was building the house, he had a home. Well, he was off duty, but a home where his colleagues had to respond to a home that exploded from a gas leak.
Yeah.
So he thought, well, that's a little more risk than he wanted to take on for his home and his family. And it was in a rural area, anyways. It was a neighborhood, but they didn't have natural gas to the neighborhood, so he would have had to do propane in order to have gas to the home. And he decided, well, if I have the option, might as well just do all electric. And this was 1997, so the heat pump technology was finally getting a little better. It's nowhere near as good as it is today, obviously. Right. And he couldn't afford the high-end equipment that we can see nowadays.
After Dad kind of explored those energy efficient options, I mean, because originally he wanted to go with spray foam.
Right.
Spray foam was too expensive, and he knew he didn't want fiberglass because of the poor efficiency.
It was too expensive for his budget. He was told to budget a number by a spray foam installer at the time, and that installer misunderstood the plans that Dad presented to him.
Right.
And he's like, well, okay, here's $5,500 is what you should budget.
Yeah.
Ended up being like $13,500, and Dad was already getting over budget through the build, and he started to find out that he needed a different solution. Didn't know much about insulation, so here he knows, well, every builder's using fiberglass. It seems to be the predominant material. There's probably something better than that out there. And he was, at the time, when he built the house, of course, he learned a lot about some of the details of building a home, but he already knew how to frame, and he had done that before, and he learned through the process other parts of the trade, but he didn't know much about insulation. So he went to research like crazy at the library and discovered
Rolodex.
yeah. He always talks about he didn't have the internet really.
Yeah.
So he found that cellulose insulation through his research was kind of becoming a front runner for him through his research. And it was later confirmed in him, essentially, when he found this VHS tape from Doug Rye.
Oh, yeah.
Doug Rye, he had this home video on how to build an energy-efficient home. And so Dad was watching this video on how to do that, where to seal, how to seal, what you need to do. And Doug Rye was saying use cellulose in lieu of fiberglass. Mm-hmm. And he was pretty much a huge proponent for it. Doug Rye was out of Arkansas.
He's kind of a pioneer in home energy efficiency.
I would say so. He was the original Matt Reisinger.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah,
before YouTube, obviously, and you have VHS tapes talking about energy efficiency, and that's where Dad was later confirmed to use cellulose through Doug Rye on that VHS.
And how did Dad come across a cellulose manufacturer? How did he find them?
Well, he was really in search of a contractor to install the material. Mm-hmm. So him trying to install the material wasn't something that he was going to try to pull off. So he wanted to find a contractor.
He couldn't find a contractor, and so that's kind of what started his search for just finding the material in and of itself,
Right.
and he found Western Fibers, correct?
Right. So there was a small manufacturer in southwestern Oklahoma and Hollis, and I don't believe they operate anymore. But they were located down there, and they pointed Dad to a couple contractors that weren't able to work out for timing reasons or complexity, because the house was not easy to insulate.
Yeah.
So,
Well, with 32-foot vaulted ceilings, I mean, in and of itself, that's a challenge.
yeah, and he was asking the insulator to insulate the roof line, which was not going to be easy.
Right.
I don't know how Dad pulled it off, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I know that
Being
there
his
was
first house to insulate.
Yeah, and well, however he did it, he apparently did good. So big shout out to Western Fibers for
They helped him through it.
helping him through it, because that's kind of what started this entire company.
Right. It's not only building the house, but they were trying to encourage Dad to become an installer, knowing that he was a firefighter. So,
Well, there was also, I mean, a big need for someone who would install cellulose, because it was in this industry and in this region, because it was the people who did do it were either extremely expensive because they don't predominantly do that,
right.
or they
weren't doing it right.
or they weren't doing it right. Exactly. And so that's when Dad identified the need for a company.
Yeah.
He gave up the trim carpentry.
Yeah.
And then in 1998, he started Insulation Experts, the first
The
iteration
original.
of our company.
Right.
Then in 2008, was it, that we changed over to Weatherization Experts? 2009. So, yeah, and that's how we got into our business. Is after high school, after Jesse and I graduated, we went into the family business full time, Weatherization Experts. So my name is Jacob Cox. This is Jesse Cox. We both own and operate the Weatherization Experts.